The following is a presentation of Muddy River News.
Welcome to the Abbey, a Quincy tradition.
With 6 big screens, a new larger kitchen, and now more seating capacity, the Abbey is the place to be before, during, and after the big game. Come enjoy fan favorite appetizers, steaks, burgers, and a variety of daily food and drink specials. Can't join us? Carryout is available too. Now with a convenient drive-up window to better serve you. 1736 Spring in Quincy. Opens at 3 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday.
Come join all your friends at the Abbey, a Quincy tradition.
Instant Replay is your local sports bar. With 18 big screen TVs, we have all the sports packages from college games to pro games. We offer daily drink specials, and come check out the Bullpen, our newly renovated beer garden. Instant Replay, 2739 Chestnut in Quincy.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Muddy, and actually it is Coffee Talk with Ash C and Britt B. What's up, Britt?
Hey, how are you?
Oh, just wonderful. So Coffee Talk is one of my favorite days. Not only because we get amazing coffee, and again, we got this from
Crazy
Cakes again, and it's amazing. But I get to sit and chit chat with you about some important topics and maybe some not so important topics. Yeah. Today, we're covering one that I think a lot of people probably have, at least a little bit of experience with. I, however, do not, and we'll get into that a little bit. But Janet Conover went before the city council last night to talk about, it's kind of like the safe housing.
Safe and Affordable Housing Living Committee.
Okay. So I spoke to her back in
October. It was October 3rd.
Way to keep me in check. Okay, so.
Because he asked me what day it was.
Okay, so.
That's my Mean Girls reference.
It is, yeah. Okay. And I always miss that reference, but I love that movie. Anyway, so I spoke to her on the Daily Muddy October. What was it? Third, sorry. Okay, anyway, and she had a lot of great information. Basically, she is the chair of that committee, which basically calls for advocates for people who are living in less than standard conditions. Rentals. Basically saying, hey, we need landlords to step up, step in, help out.
And then it's also like a broad spectrum too, is what she added with that day. It's not just for people living in squalor
or squander, however you want to say it. Yeah, we had a small discussion before this, but yeah.
But it's for just people that if maybe you don't have good communication skills with your landlord, or there is a problem and you're not, you do have a nice rental, and for whatever reason that problem isn't getting fixed. They're there to help advocate for you if there is a situation where, you just can't go directly to your landlord. And there's sometimes these situations, I guess. Yeah.
So, I think it's definitely necessary. As we were talking about, I don't know that there was kind of a safe housing ordinance that was kind of tossed around in discussions.
During that time.
Yeah.
And it was tabled on October 4th, I guess.
Okay. So... And we've yet to hear anything further about that, but Janet went before the city council last night to say, hey, I've got all these people.
Behind us. Yeah. There are 31 organizations. I think they're churches. There's one school, different...
individuals,
yeah,
right?
It's all privately funded, or it's not tax dollars.
Right, and it's basically these people kind of vortex around this cause to help individuals, like Brittany was saying, open communication between tenants and landlords. And it's not, so you always hear, one side or the other, but there are always two sides to every story. Yeah. So it's not always the landlord. I'm not saying everyone out there is a slumlord, but it's not always the tenant either. Yeah. So these advocates, their role is to basically bring these two sides together to come up with, a negotiated solution that makes everybody happy. Does that sound fair?
I think that's what they're there for.
Yeah, and I think everybody benefits from that, whether you are a tenant or a landlord. This just helps. It helps both parties.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you don't want. I don't have any experience, and this is ridiculous, but I have never lived on my own. So I have never had an apartment. I lived with my mom until I was like 28, and then Luke and I bought her house and basically kicked her out. Sorry, Mom. But so I have never had an experience with a landlord or as a tenant. So I don't have a lot of skin in the game or experience or knowledge about, even how any of this works.
I have so many stories.
Okay.
And I think I'll just stick with one because it's what came to my mind when I read the story on here. It was a situation where I was renting from a friend. He needed basically somebody to fill his house while he lived out of town. It was a beautiful house. It was a nice house. It was great for me. It was a great opportunity for me. It still wasn't cheap.
Right.
You know, I was still putting way more of my money than I should have in a rental situation, but I was young, dumb, and, you know.
You just wanted a nice place.
Yeah, I mean.
Everybody does.
This was when my daughter was a year old, so technically it was like my single mom year. And yeah, again, it was a great opportunity where this was put into place, but then problems started happening with the rental. And I would email my friend and say, hey, so this is happening.
The friend that you're renting, sublet. I think it's called is it subletting? I don't know what that is.
No, technically it was renting. It was all under contract. He owned the house. And
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got a hold of the guy who you were renting the house from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which he lived out of town, and I think his parents were kind of managing it for him.
Okay.
So I'm saying, you know, this is going wrong or that is going wrong. And this is frustrating him to the point where he's like, you know, this is more trouble than it's worth. And I understood that. So,
and with the baby at home, you're like, shit, what do I do?
I started, you know, doing probably not the smartest thing and not letting him know sometimes when the problems were happening and trying to take care of them myself.
Yeah.
Basically out of fear that he was going to say, hey, you know, this is more trouble than it's worth. It's time for you to go. You know, you're past your lease or, you know, we've made it your month to month right now or things like that. And like, it would have been nice in that situation to have an advocate back me up and say, you know, or let me know how to handle the situation even, or how to discuss that. Because it was kind of hard to even
navigate
the situation. So I don't know. I think it's a great idea. I found myself in some sticky situations before, not just that. So yeah, just having backup there would have been nice. I
can imagine. Like I said, I haven't had a whole lot of experience, but I do think it's necessary. And these advocates, so there is I don't remember the formal name, but it's a complaint form. And this complaint form is basically, so the whole idea is to open effective communication between the tenant and the landlord. So first step is make sure you're having a conversation with your landlord.
That's the first thing that they ask.
Yeah.
Have you spoke to your landlord?
Right, because if not, don't even come at them with this complaint form because it's null and void. So have an open conversation with your landlord. If for some reason that doesn't work, then you call one of these advocates and they'll help you navigate through the complaint form, get it filed with the planning department in Quincy, and help you kind of, I guess, progress through the steps of getting any solution, right? That's going to be, that's, I guess, going to help.
You're not going to get kicked out of your house because you've filed this complaint form once you've put it in the proper hands.
Right.
They can't exactly kick you out.
Right. Well, and hopefully landlords see it as
a safety measure for them too.
Right. And help, you know, just kind of like another measure that helps open up communication that may not always be easy or there, right? Yeah. So I think it's a great thing.
I think it's a great thing. I do see I see it is a double-edged sword, you know, like, or I don't know what you say, but I see the other side to the story too. Yeah. I do see, I guess, why it got tabled so quickly. We are a community of lots of rentals. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of skin in the game, so they don't want this in place. They don't want the government saying,
you have to do this. Yeah. Yeah. Which I understand.
Dictating what you do with what is essentially your property.
Right.
However, I don't know, it's like you said, it's a business.
Yeah.
It's a product.
Yeah.
So you can't exactly put out a product that's
there has to be some kind of guarantee.
Defective.
There has to be some kind of guarantee for the customer, right? So that's what we were talking about. Luke has a small business and he has to have, so he's limited liability, so he has to have insurance. He has to be able to stand behind the product that he puts out. And the product that these landlords are putting out is hopefully safe living, right? Standard living anyway.
I think also people should have the option, what if you don't want that? What if you do want the $300 rent and the cheap squalor. And,
Yeah.
And what if that is something you want? So I think what the solution should be is maybe this checklist.
Yeah.
Have a list, and if your rental passes the checklist, then it can be on the checklist. If it's not, then it's not, but it's all transparent.
Right.
The tenant gets to see what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah. If I want to pay $50 a month and there's black mold, then I have to sign off on that, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That sounds...
I think this is also to protect these new people that we're bringing in town. Not everyone knows when they see, I mean, we're advertising. We have cheap rent. So when you come here and maybe you've never even visited the place or had the opportunity to visit the place, but you had to go ahead and sign a lease on something, and you didn't, all you did was see the pictures. I know that sounds stupid, but there are situations like that.
Yeah.
And so you come in and you're in this rental situation, and you were told, hey, it's cheap. Now you understand why it's cheap.
Right.
So I don't
everything
know.
looks better in pictures anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think no, the government shouldn't come in and dictate it. So let's just have this checklist. Let's have a checklist, and if you can easily see, and the people on the checklist, those are the people that can get the government funding for.
Right.
If you need, if you want to provide government funding, subsidizing with your housing.
Right.
You have to be on this checklist.
Right.
So we don't find people living in
Squalor. Yeah, squalor, whatever it is. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a great solution. I'm sure there's always more to every story.
I know. I'm not.
No. I think that's a great solution. And I think, you brought up a good point that there's always a gray area. So we want more control, but we don't want more control.
Yeah.
And depending on what side of the fence you're on, there are good arguments for both sides. And I don't, like I said, I've never had an experience, being a tenant where I was treated unfairly, but I'm sure there are. And I'm sure that there, on the flip side of that coin, there are landlords
You should be able to do what you want with your property.
Right,
technically.
right. And there are landlords who get treated unfairly by tenants.
Oh,
so there's kind of how do you toe that line between what's fair and what's right?
Yeah.
For both parties. I don't know, but I'm sure that there will be more discussion. I know Ms. Conover is doing her fair share of work.
Yeah, she's a really amazing lady. I re-listened to your interview, and it is neat. She said, I didn't know, and I didn't know either, that there were situations here in our community where, people don't have running water.
Right.
Like, just because we don't see something doesn't mean that it isn't there. I don't know.
And just because we don't want to admit that it exists in our hometown doesn't mean that it doesn't.
Yeah.
So unfortunate, though. And you would think we're a tight-knit community. You would think that whatever it took to make sure that
I like, though, how
happen.
she has gone out there and put herself out there, and, she's doing this without exploiting those people.
Right.
She's brought this to our attention, but didn't,
she's not out showing pictures and saying, hey, here's why we're doing it.
Or look at what I did.
Yeah, pat me on the back.
Yeah, pretty cool lady.
Yeah, she is very cool. Yeah, one of my favorite, I'm going to butcher it, but like when you're helping the needy, don't bring a camera.
Yeah.
And she does that.
Yeah.
And I think that's an angel on earth. And I think I called her that when she was here. But
Good.
I'm like,
cool.
There's got to be a solution. I love the checklist. Whatever the solution is, it's got to be good for everybody. I don't know how you manage that, but first and foremost, people that need help need advocates. They need an avenue to help them achieve at least a standard of living here in Quincy. Yeah. So thank you to Janet Conover and to all of the advocates who are, like I said, vortexing around this cause.
Everyone on that committee.
Yeah, and the committee. Yep.
And then everyone, different organizations.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if this brings about more conversations with the safe housing ordinance.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure it'll stir back up.
Yeah, I think so. Well, if it's
Maybe
necessary,
maybe Coffee Doc just did it.
Yeah, there we go. Hopefully. Okay. Well, cheers to that, and thank you for coming in again.
Yeah,
I really love it.
you.
All right, that's it for Coffee Talk. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Quincy Warehouse Bargains is your Quincy home improvement store. It's the only store of its kind in the Quincy area. We offer flooring, mattresses, area rugs, dining sets, couches, appliances, and much more. And have more products to come so we can better serve the Quincy and tri-state community. Our staff is ready to help you find what you need to make your house a home. Quincy Warehouse Bargains, 4100 North 24th Street, Quincy.
Are you looking for the perfect venue for your next special event? Check out Utopia Event Center.
Utopia has a large banquet room and an awesome bar area, perfect for anything from birthday parties to formal corporate meetings. It also offers a photo booth, stage for a DJ or a live band, and a fully stocked bar, all for only $300. Check us out at utopiaeventcenter.com or call Barn at 217-430-6559 for more information. Utopia Event Center, 900 North 12th Street in Quincy.
There's a reason Harvey's Furniture has been around for over 75 years.
Exceptional quality furniture, affordable prices, superior customer service.
The only way to stay in business for over 75 years is to do things right. Harvey's Furniture. Our home, your home.
Muddy River News. Our home, our news.